The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are joined in studio by someone you're all very familiar with. He hosts the Adam Gold Show directly before this one every day here on 99.9 The Fan. He has jumped to the other side. He's letting me sit in his seat, which I appreciate.
I am not left-handed.
So the world's looking backwards for him, but he's here to I don't want to say check our work, but every once in a while you want to make sure you're not missing anything. And when I want to make sure I'm not missing anything with the Carolina Hurricanes, I definitely check in with Adam, so I figured we'd do it on air this time.
Let's do it.
We have our Hurriconfidence, Hurriconcerns, and then our Hurriconfidence meter. We've been doing this all season,
okay,
and now we need you to add in your 2 cents.
All right. Where do we start?
Well, we have good news and bad news. Which do you want first? You always pick the bad news, right?
Yeah.
So
there's not a lot of bad news.
Hurriconcern. What is it? Well, we're going to force you to come up with something.
Okay.
What are you most concerned with when it comes to the Hurricanes?
Right now, most concerned with the play of the Kuznetsov, Necas, Svechnikov line, which theoretically should be dynamic offensively and hasn't been since they've been together. And what's worse is that they've been a disaster defensively. The thing is, if you put Teuvo Teravainen there, and I think there's a possibility that he could end up there, it becomes much better. The underlying numbers with Svechnikov there are catastrophic. You put Teravainen there, and it's kind of cloudy. So it's not that bad. Sometimes you can be okay with cloudy. But that's my biggest concern right now. Also, we need Frederik Andersen to stay. I'm not asking him to be a 95 save percentage guy. That's bananas.
But
right.
You know, to quote Dennis, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it, right?
You're going to do it.
Right. But what my concern is that Freddie has been a little fragile. And when Freddie is fragile, Freddie won't play. He doesn't play through it. Freddie will not play through it. Kochetkov, for me, is just falling off a touch in his. I don't know. Washington didn't bother me. Not a single one of those goals was his fault. None of them were his fault.
All 100 of them.
There was a lot. I thought he could have done a little bit better on both goals. They're not bad goals, but get one of them. Get one of them. So I'm a little concerned about Kochetkov because he can get a little jumpy. So the idea is he's the alternative to Freddie. And I have flipped on this over the last couple of weeks.
Who has the pole position style thing?
Yeah, Freddie's played too good. Oh, my gosh.
Do you get Spencer Martin a start in the next 9 games?
Only if you've clinched everything and you want to give, like if the last game of the season belonged to Freddie, if they're still in a rotation. Yeah, no, I'm not. No, Spencer Martin's is a AAA goalie. Let him.
He's $775,000.
Right, you know, look, I love having him around. He backs up.
Yeah.
He backs up on the road. He's always backing up. So, no, Spencer Martin doesn't get a start.
So that's Hurriconcerns. Now we get to Hurriconfidence, which is what are you most confident in? And this one might be a more difficult question simply by there's more nominees.
Right.
What are you most confident in when it comes to the Canes?
I'm not sure Carolina has had a better top line, and they won a Stanley Cup than they have right now. I'm not sure
That's saying something.
This line is so good in every possible way. Aho, Jarvis, Guentzel, they play both ends of the rink.
You have to for Rob.
You do. Well, I mean, they have guys that don't, right? We need you to make the effort in some way at both ends of the rink. You at least be a good forechecker if you're not a great defender. But those three work so well together. I honestly don't know how they didn't score 3 goals in Pittsburgh. I mean, Jarvis and Guentzel each had the goal-scoring chances. Aho was setting them up. But they are so good, all 3 of them together. The metrics for that, possession, expected goals allowed is like almost nothing. They have been so good. And I think they're going to get better. I think we haven't seen the best of them yet, and they're already really good. So
I find it funny at the deadline. The argument against making the big move was you didn't want to upset the apple cart. You didn't want to upset the culture.
Right.
After watching Guentzel for 8 games, I don't know how there's not an apple cart, a fruit stand,
No.
like there's nothing that he will ever upset. It's like a great point guard, right? It's, 10 assists in 8 games. Who's not going to love playing with that?
Why isn't he scoring goals? That's what he's a goal. No,
shootout winners.
The idea that he was going to upset the chemistry in the room. Carolina is walking chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously, their locker room is conducive to anybody coming in. Everybody says the same thing. Like, you come in and you are like immediate family. The Kuznetsov thing probably had more risk, but you walk in, his best friend, Dmitry Orlov, is there. You've got, whether this matters or not, and I kind of think it does, there's a Russian influence in the room. Mm-hmm. I haven't been there. I don't know where he's dressing, but I bet it's pretty close to where Andre is, right?
Or at least he's over there cracking jokes, and then I got to go put my skates on.
And like, I think the way Kuznetsov personality also fits, he seems to genuinely care about other people. And I think that's important.
I've gone down this weird rabbit hole, and I understand it's a stretch. It's one of those things where I'm like, I know it's probably not true, but I kind of like the idea of it. I think Kuzi's personality, because he's a fun-loving guy, right?
Very
he
much
likes to joke around. I think it's almost given Jarvis a break. Because Jarvis, before Kuzi got here, was like 90% of the fun. And now it's like, oh, good, I don't have to be like a stand-up comedian on stage all of the time.
Except that he is all the time.
I can occasionally go, hey, Kuzi, here's the mic, right? Tell some jokes. I'm going to go, catch a nap. As a 22-year-old in the NHL takes naps.
I bet he does.
But I think, the personality hire aspect of Kuzi has helped out. All right, now this is why we really brought you in. By the way, we're talking with Adam Gold. I'm not introducing him as often as I do normal guests because you recognize his voice. The host of the Adam Gold Show. Catch it every day right here, 99.9 The Fan, from noon to 3. The Her Confidence Meter. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on our WRAL Sports Fan live stream or anything like that, you've seen it. I got a little nervous, I have to admit, because we have this Her Confidence Meter. It looks like a gas gauge.
I like it.
It looks like a gas gauge on your dashboard. We've had it at Plan the Parade since the day the Guentzel trade was made.
Right.
And part of me was like, maybe this is me. Yeah, you're a Mets fan also, right?
I am.
I'm a Mets fan.
Oh, look at that.
So maybe this is the Mets fan element of it.
What happened?
Maybe this is the Mets fan of me.
We're rained out today.
Where when it's Plan the Parade for too long, I'm going, something is wrong, right?
Yeah,
if you love the house, you assume there's mold in there somewhere. Uh-huh. So I'm bringing you in to either confirm or tell me like there's something I'm missing. Is our Her Confidence Meter set at the right spot?
Yeah, I think it is.
Perfect. Which if you are listening on the radio, which hopefully there's many of you that are, this is like your gas tank is 9/10 full. Like it's all the way to the right. It's all the way in the green.
I think there's only a handful of teams that are at Carolina's level. Anything can happen in the playoffs. The NHL is the ultimate crapshoot when we get to the postseason, more so than any other. Like, in many ways, it's the NCAA tournament, right?
Of 7-game series,
right?
Yeah.
But, so I think Florida, although Florida right now is behind Boston, but I think Florida and Carolina are the two best in the East. I know the Rangers are ahead, and I think the Rangers are really good. I think the Rangers are, and it might not matter, because, again, they've got Shesterkin, who can also be elite. I think Carolina has a slightly better blue line. I think Carolina has a deeper offensive team than the Rangers do. And when those two teams play, as long as Carolina doesn't lose special teams, I think they'd win the series. I think Florida plays a little bit more rugged, which is Carolina's, that's their Achilles. If you mess around, if you rough around with them, you can beat Carolina because we're not a big team. But that to me
frustrate Andrei Svechnikov pretty easily recently.
Yeah, and you don't need to be big to do that. So Florida for me is that team. I think Carolina's better than Boston. Although we're talking about 4 elite teams. And by the way, Tampa right now is pretending. I don't think they're as good, but they are pretending to be the Tampa of old. They actually might catch Toronto for third in the Atlantic. They're only 2 points behind.
Tampa is why we need like a hurrah confidence meter, right? Because you can't just put records up and say like, all right, they're here, because
right.
The actual truth is somewhere else.
But if you looked at Tampa, they're not the same. They're just, they've got Vasilevsky, they've got the shell of that team, but the shell is like
it's still that
all
team.
going to the Hall of Fame. So I think Carolina and Florida, the two best teams in the East. The West is wide open, but I actually think it's Colorado and Vegas that are the two best teams. Vegas right now is the 8th seed. We could see Colorado and Vegas in the first round. Like, no joke.
It'd be fun to watch.
It's tragic. I really think those are the two best teams in the West.
Well, it would guarantee they at least match up, right? Because every once in a while, like you're hearing some of this in the NCAA tournament right now, there's like a Sweet 16 matchup, and you're like, oh, this is really the Elite Eight, right? Like whoever wins this is going to win. You could get one of those early on. It'd be, as long as it happens, I'm more entertaining.
Oh, no, and I'll be at this parade if they.
There we go.
I wasn't at the last one. Oh, you've not heard the story?
I've not heard this story.
Well, I covered every game that year. Every single game. I missed game 6 and 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. So it was my anniversary.
Are we opening old wounds here?
No,
like,
no, it's fine. I made the decision.
Okay, all right.
I had planned an anniversary trip. My wife and I got engaged in Charleston and the year before, and I had planned an anniversary trip to go back, stay in the same hotel, and I didn't realize, it's mid-June, I didn't realize that it coincided with Game 6 and 7. And Game 5, with the Hurricanes leading 3-1 in overtime, I'm sitting there going, please, can we end this now? And then there was a turnover in their own end, and a shot from the blue line got deflected and went over Cam Ward's shoulder into the top corner. And we're going back to Edmonton, and I'm like, you son of a...
This is Robin Williams and Good Will Hunting. You had to go see about a girl.
So we went to Charleston. I watched Games 6 and 7 from the King Street Bar and Grill. And wasn't even here. I covered every game and had friends on the team. I was friends with Cole. I was friends with Kevin Adams. I was not at Game 6 and 7. Kevin's like, where's Gold?
That's brutal. But our Her Confidence meter is set to plan the parade. So
I'll be at this one.
You'll be at this one. No trip scheduled.
No.
Adam, appreciate you for stopping by.
You got it.
Once again, Adam Gold, host of the Adam Gold Show, as well as Stormwatch, Aftermath, everything Canes related. You want to check in with Adam Gold, that's what I do, and that's what we just did.